Hunger has a sound. It is not loud, but it never stops. It echoes in empty rooms, in hollow stomachs, and in a mother's heart when she watches her children fall asleep crying. On a cold, forgotten evening, a widow with 9 children stood at the edge of her dignity and survival, forced to make a decision she never imagined she would face. She did not marry for love, hope, or dreams. She married for bread, and she had no idea that the stranger she chose would reveal a truth that would change her life forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of unexpected mercy, take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps keep stories like this alive. Her name was Amina, and life had not always been cruel to her. Years ago, her home had been filled with laughter, simple meals, and the warmth of a husband who worked with his hands and his heart. But fate arrived quietly one afternoon when her husband collapsed while working in the fields. There was no hospital nearby, no money for transport, and no time. By nightfall, Amina became a widow, and by morning, she became something even heavier, the sole shield between 9 hungry children and a merciless world. At first, the village helped. Neighbors brought leftover bread, some rice, a little lentil soup. But pity has a short lifespan when poverty is shared by everyone. Weeks turned into months, and the visits stopped. Amina sold her jewelry, then her furniture, then the last goat her husband had left behind. She worked endlessly, washing clothes, cleaning homes, carrying stones, doing anything that earned even a handful of coins. Still, it was never enough. 9 children meant 9 mouths, 9 pairs of eyes watching her plate to see if she would eat or pretend she wasn't hungry. Nights were the worst. When darkness swallowed the village, hunger grew louder. The children would curl up together on thin mats, their bodies weak, their breaths shallow. Amina would lie awake, staring at the ceiling, counting not stars but failures. She blamed herself for surviving when her husband did not. She blamed God, then begged God, then apologized for blaming him at all. There were nights when she pressed her face into the dirt floor so her children would not hear her cry. The day everything changed began like all the others, with nothing. No flour, no oil, no borrowed food left to ask for. Her youngest child fainted from hunger that morning, and something inside Amina cracked in a way that could not be repaired. By afternoon, rumors reached her ears that a man from a neighboring town was looking to marry. He was older, quiet, and alone. People whispered that he needed someone to manage his home. Others whispered that he was strange, distant, and possibly hiding something. Amina resisted the thought with every breath. Marriage was sacred to her. It was not a transaction, but hunger does not respect values. When her children begged for food with voices too weak to cry, her pride collapsed. She wrapped her shawl tightly around herself and walked to meet the man, carrying nothing but desperation and shame. The stranger was not what she expected. He did not speak much, did not smile much, and did not ask many questions. He looked at her children standing behind her like fragile shadows and nodded slowly. He agreed to marry her quickly, quietly, without celebration. There was no dowry, no feast, no music. Only one promise mattered: food, regular meals, safety, survival. That night, Amina cried harder than she ever had before, not because she was starving, but because she felt she had sold the last piece of herself. She did not expect kindness. She did not expect love. She only expected her children to live. The stranger took them to his home the next day. It stood far from the village, surrounded by dry land and silence. From the outside, it looked ordinary, even poor. Amina's heart sank. Fear wrapped around her chest like a rope. Had she made a terrible mistake? Had she traded hunger for something worse? But the moment she stepped inside, everything shifted. The house was simple, but clean. In the kitchen, sacks of grain were stacked neatly against the wall. Shelves were filled with oil, dried fruits, and spices she had not seen in years. A large pot simmered over the fire, and the smell alone made her knees weak. Her children stared in disbelief. Some of them cried not from pain, but from the shock of abundance. The stranger said little, but he watched as Amina cooked her first proper meal in months. He watched her hands tremble as she served her children full plates. He watched them eat slowly at first, afraid the food might disappear if they moved too fast. In that moment, Amina realized that this man was not poor. He was hiding something far greater than money. Days passed, then weeks. Her children grew stronger, their faces filled out. Their laughter returned, hesitant at first, then fearless. Amina worked tirelessly, cleaning, cooking, managing the home, but something felt different. The stranger never treated her like a servant. He never raised his voice. He never controlled her. He provided quietly, consistently, without expectation. One evening, while organizing a locked room at the back of the house, Amina discovered ledgers, documents, and records. Her heart pounded as she realized the truth. The man she married for food was not just stable, he was wealthy, not in flashy ways, but in land, trade, and savings carefully hidden from a world that loved to take more than it gave. Confusion turned into fear. Why would a man with so much choose to live so quietly? Why marry a starving widow with 9 children? When she finally understood the answer, her knees gave out beneath her. The stranger had once been rich in another way. He had a wife, children, and a loud home filled with life. Disease took them all in one season. The grief hollowed him out. He gave away much of what he owned, lived simply, and avoided people. When he heard about Amina, he did not see a burden. He saw a chance to save lives without being praised for it. He saw a way to bring noise back into his silent world. From that day forward, Amina's shame slowly transformed into gratitude, then into respect, then into something deeper. She realized she had not been rescued by wealth alone, but by intention. This man did not buy her. He chose her brokenness and welcomed it. Seasons changed, and so did their lives. The children went to school, the house filled with stories, meals, and healing. Amina learned that dignity can be lost, but it can also be restored in unexpected ways. She learned that survival does not always come wrapped in romance, and kindness does not always announce itself loudly. As years passed, Amina became more than a survivor. She became a pillar in her community, helping other widows, feeding the hungry, reminding broken women that desperation does not define their worth. The stranger she married became a father again, not by blood, but by choice. If this story has touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps spread stories that remind us humanity still exists. Before the story ends, we have a special request for you. Please comment below with one word that describes how this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. Amina never forgot the night she married for food, but she also never forgot the day she learned that sometimes life saves us not by giving us what we want, but by giving us what we need. In a world where hunger can destroy dignity, she learned that kindness can rebuild it quietly, patiently, and forever.